Hey.
Made us late, and he's not even here. So we decided we're not gonna. We respect your time. We're gonna just start without him, and then maybe when he joins, we'll make him sit in the green room for a little bit. You know.
He better join because I can't highlight comments right now.
Yes, you can. You just gotta log out, log into your account, or switch it to your other account. We can make your other account the admin.
Yeah, I might, but we'll do that when Jordan gets in.
While I was at like a panel last week, I had no service in that like giant room that the panel was in. You guys were like, "No one's the admin." But hello, everyone! It's great to see you all. I'm really looking forward to this week and next week because this is like the last kind of bit of content I gotta make for you guys until I move. We had our goodbye video that we posted today.
You might want to highlight James. James is apparently voting you off.
James always hates me. I don't know what that's about.
But I like James. Not because he's wanting to vote you off, but I like James. Oh.
I was done dirty.
You made I told you you don't have to be here this week, and you made a big deal about, I'm being there because I get a longer lunch break.
I can be here for about, I don't know, 30 minutes?
Okay.
What happened to the hour?
You want me to be here for that? I'll be here for the hour if that's what you guys want.
Well, I mean, are you going to be here next week?
No. Unless you want me to be in here from Chicago next week.
Chat, do you want Jordan to video chat in from Chicago next week?
Chi-Town, as they call it. The Windy City.
Why is their name green in the... Oh, it was weird. It was like coming in green.
Oh, it's green on my side.
No, they're a subscriber on YouTube. That's what it means.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. What's up, everybody? So this is exciting. We dropped our goodbye video, and I purposely, I had my wife keep going, that's too clickbaity of a name, less clickbaity, because people didn't like my last one. So that was fun. We have, some last-minute photo sheets that we did, so we'll have some social media content to put out, but this, there'll never be another video done in this house, which is crazy.
He's growing up. He's making big changes.
Right? Yeah, so it's exciting. How you guys been doing?
I'm glad the week's over. Jake knows why. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to my trip next week, which I head out on Wednesday. And to answer Alex's question
for the first time.
Yeah, my first plane ride, plane travel. Yeah. Alex, yes, this is a Spirit Box shirt. I saw them last year in November for a 200-person concert. So it was cool.
You should have flapped your wings a lot to your arms. Yeah.
I heard that helps with elevation. It helps get the plane going.
It'll help keep people away from you because they don't want to be near you at that point, so you get the whole roll to yourself.
That's big brain.
So I don't know what we're supposed to do for the haul section this week because I realized I packaged up most of the books I hauled this week. Jordan's at work and Chris has nothing. I might get a shipment during this stream, but I have a couple to show off.
Okay.
I have my first Epic collection.
All right. You got the Craven?
Yeah, because I felt like when I was reading it in the Web of Spider-Man omnibus that I packaged up and forgot to show off, I felt like I didn't like it in the omnibus format. So I wanted it, in a more...
Get out.
Because I was like, yeah, I'm just kidding. No, this was for our video we did on every format. I realized that there were so many, I don't want to say lesser formats, but smaller formats like Marvel Digest or Epics that I gifted away to people because I'd upgrade to bigger sizes. And I realized that I had to rebuy some formats that I didn't own. So, yeah, there's that. This next one, I
have a follow-up. Are you Craven more Craven?
Oh my gosh, if it's Craven time, I'm down.
It's definitely not Craven time. No stats for that movie.
This next one, I paid double the price for because it was not supposed to be sold yet. I walked up, so I didn't even get to tell you guys about my time at the convention. I had an amazing time at the convention.
Yes, story time.
We got to meet Dan Slott, which was awesome. He drew a little Silver Surfer in my book and said, if you ever meet Mike, ask him to fix it. And I said, I'll ask him at Heroes Con. And then we got to meet Mark Waid, which was awesome. And I go to his booth and I'm like, hey, these aren't supposed to be sold for a few months yet. And he goes, shh, don't tell anybody. So I got this signed by Mark. So I had to be the only person ever who probably has a signed Absolute Kingdom Come and signed Compact Kingdom Come. There's not a lot of people.
At least right now.
Yes, at least right now. So that was fun. So Friday, me and Jordan were really good. We cleaned up like so fast with all of our signatures.
Yeah.
I got a. I'll grab my Mr. Miracle to show you guys what I had him draw on that, which I showed you guys in pictures. But I got a remark in that. I got Dennis to do a remark in my question omnibus, which was pretty cool.
That was really cool looking.
And then Saturday, I went back with my wife and I went back in the lines for the creators because for whatever reason, I was so in the moment with Jordan. I didn't think about taking any pictures with them. So I had to wait back in line just to take pictures with the creators. And then we went to a Superman panel hosted by, I guess she was the head editor of Superman at DC. And she was interviewing Dan Slott and Mark Waid. And she might be a good editor, but she was not a good interview host. She was so awkward and spastic that it was like almost an awkward vibe. So Mark Waid and Dan Slott just take it over and start like making what they want to talk about. And Mark Waid goes, I want to ask you guys, the audience, like, why do you think Superman's such an important character? And you know, someone raises their hand and they're like, oh, he's a Boy Scout. And he's like, well, I don't really like that nickname, but yes, that's, you know, so he wasn't really thrilled with anyone's answers. And my wife's like nudging me and I'm in the very middle second row. So finally I raise my hand and he's like, okay, one last one. And I get to give my answer to this crowd of like hundreds of people about why I love Superman. And Mark Waid was like, that's exactly the answer I was looking for. And then proceeded to tell a story about why he loves Superman so much. And I guess he grew up in like rural America and like might as well lived in Kansas. And he was kind of emo and depressed and had no idea what his future was going to be. And he was like, I didn't even see paved roads for years. And he went and saw Superman the movie and it saved his life to the point where he left that theater and said, I don't know what I'll do for the rest of my life, but it will involve Superman. And they talked about how they're hoping that this next movie can be another paradigm shift for Superman where people can leave that movie and go, wow, like he is important. I want to start reading Superman comics. Where should I start? So that's why they're making their new Superman runs really accessible. And he got to talk about how he's doing that new history of the DC. And I think he broke the news that All Red will be doing the Silver Age, which like, how perfect is that going to be?
Yeah, very.
So my answer to why Superman's important, I guess, is that he's so powerful that you can write the stakes to the story as small as him saving a cat from a tree or as large as the entire universe is going to be ended. But he always rises to the occasion, not because he's powerful, but because he's kind and good and human. And I think that's what's so important is that he can do anything and he chooses to be good because he's a good person. And I think that's what makes him so important. I guess to me, Jake reminds me of a young Mark. Oh, that's an honor. Hey, Mark Waid gave me his email, so maybe you'll see an interview someday.
Maybe.
Speaking of All Red, though, I got Batman Dark Age.
Aw.
Hey.
I did too last week.
Twins.
Yeah.
The next two are a little set. I got Avengers by Kurt Busiek and George Perez. So I got this cover. Are we cover twins?
Yes, we are.
Okay. I don't think this was the cover I ordered, but this was the cover I wound up getting. I got this cover.
Right here. Yep, that's the one I have too. So we're double cover twins.
Wow.
And then
and I don't own that Omni or either one.
Well, if you for those of you paying attention, if you have paid attention to Omar's announcements and the Jeff Johns Avengers Omni that he just announced, that is what follows Busiek and Perez's run, and that leads into Bendis's run. So
hell yeah.
So my personal opinion, I'm not a fan of Johns' Avengers run. It definitely an interlude part. There's if it's your favorite, that's great. You won't find it on too many top 10 lists. I'll tell you that. It wasn't bad. It just was. I think it
not
was
your tempo.
I wouldn't say. Yeah, I mean it's not my tempo, but it's one of those where Busick and Perez just had like that. It's hard to follow that, and this was John still early on, not taking that on. So, but I'm glad we have it. It's a gap filler.
And I got my Absolute Promethea Volume 1. So now my copy isn't tattered and worn.
You bought 2.
My last one, the slipcase didn't even have a top.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Stickers all over it.
You're right. I forgot about that.
I'm probably gonna get some hate. I threw it away. It was so tattered. It had like the barcodes attached to it. Pages were cut and ripped. And
why would you get hate like, for that?
I don't know. I know I could have given it to someone that maybe would have wanted it, but I'm moving, and it was one less thing to move.
So now you're good, right?'re not gonna get the reprints of 2 and 3 for everything to match.
I'll have to see if they match better, because right now the 3 volumes don't match anywhere close together, and I'm wondering if the reprints will make them match better. But
probably the spines will be the same, because I'm looking at mine right now and it has the bullet logo. So you'll probably, if you're that anal retentive about it.
That Promethea has seen unspeakable things. That was beat to hell. I'm glad that, everyone's happy that, it's a good. And then I found 2 whales at the convention of mine. Not whales, but just out-of-print books that I didn't own, and I got them for crazy deals. So I got Secret Identity, which I own in the Kurt Busiek thick hardcover, but I got the deluxe edition for like $20. And then I got the Electra Omnibus for $40, sealed. And that was the only Daredevil, if you want to call it a Daredevil omnibus, I didn't own, Yeah,
it counts.
And then lastly, I'll show you guys what Mitch was kind enough to draw in my book.
Yeah, that is sweet. Very, very almost Walter Simonson-like, too.
So where does this lie on the spectrum between a remark and a sketch? Because he did like shading and like details. So
he bust out the Copic markers.
I personally call that a sketch, but I know there's a lot of, it's a gray area between a remark and a sketch, in the sense of like, some would call that a sketch. I would call that personally a sketch, but some would definitely call it a remark. But it's up to, it's awesome. Whatever, it's awesome.
Yeah, when we met him, he goes, "Oh, I know you guys from Instagram." And he said, like, I just have to thank you guys for the awesome content you made for our book. It really helped sell our book, and that like means the world to us. So I'm hoping I don't know if this is what he normally gives for a remark, or if he gave me a little bit extra love,
I'll step off real quick. I'll show you what I consider an example of a remark, because yours I consider a sketch. I'll be right back.
Jake, you can grab the question omnibus if you still have it out.
Didn't we pack? I think we packed it.
Did we?
I'm not seeing it.
Well, I was gonna say that would be more of a remark. Although I think it's pretty big.
I don't know if Mitch just gives you a lot more for your money. It's you're right. It's a very generous remark that I felt like he gave me a little bit extra love for all the love we've given his work.
I also kind of called him out when he started inking it, and I went, watch how Mitch is going to pull out the Copics now, and he goes, maybe.
All right, so this is Volume 1 of The Art of Liam Sharp. This was a Kickstarter I backed. I've got all 3 books. But this one, I think it was a mistake that I got this. It's a good example of what a remark and a sketch are, because mine was just supposed to come with a remark. It came with a remark, but he also did a sketch as well. So you get to see kind of 2 examples of this. And I don't know how I got that lucky, but I'm also not going to... Liam Sharp.
Just kidding. I know, I'm just kidding. It's called The Art of Liam Sharp,
so
pretty clear.
If you want to blow me up so you can...
Yeah, let me get you
Hell yeah.
So, this right here, the Batman one, that would be, I would consider a remark. The troll-looking, smoking figure, that I consider a sketch. But this is what you would typically consider to be a remark. So,
I feel like I also got a generous, I don't have it out, but I got a generous remark for the question. Like, he went a little above and beyond. I'm wondering if because I told him I was friends with BJ Kicks and BJ Says Hi, and BJ just did an interview, and he goes, BJ's a really great dude. And I'm like, that's gotta.
Those
I
are
want. I
facts.
hope someday someone meets a creator that I've interviewed and they go, "Jake's a really great dude." That's. And Alex, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not the person to ask. I literally this week I wanted to buy a copy of the Brand New Day omnibus. And I saw that it was back ordered, and I saw that OPB had a couple copies in their dinged and dented section. And I picked the dinged and dented to clear out inventory and to get my book faster because I don't care. So the trick is you just don't pack too many in a box because even if a box can hold more books, it's gonna get too heavy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And what I would say is either obviously check your local comic book shop, or I live in North Carolina. We have what's called ABC stores, liquor stores.
Liquor stores, yeah.
Yeah, liquor stores at that point. And you just go up, say, hey, I'm moving. Do you have any boxes? And they will be typically very happy to give you as much as you want. And those are also great boxes for books. But yeah, Jake is right. Don't overpack. Don't once you fill it in the sense of normally, and I would pack it. Jake, you tell me how you're doing it. I would pack it spines on the bottom. Because if they're going to lay flat like that, that's just how I would do it. So that way, how the book is laying at that point, it's not necessarily gravity is working for you and not pulling the book down at that point, because you don't know how long you're going to be in a box for. And but yeah.
Well, I can tell you now. Yesterday, Jake and I we started doing some of the office packing, and Jake goes, this will fit, and puts books in.
People would not everyone's like, oh, you should make a video on how to package books, and I'm like, no, I'd lose whatever little bit of credibility I have in this community, because to me, I actually don't mind if a book gets a little ding or something, because to me that gives it character. And that's I'm not going to sell these things. I'm not buying them to resell them later. I'm a little more stickler on artists, Taschens, or absolutes, but for me, I'm going to separate all absolutes from their slipcase and package the slipcase and the book separately. Just kidding.
Shut up.
No, I just don't care. I before I worked with OPB, me and Jordan had this system with JP where JP would send us a picture of his just stack of damaged books and be like, you want to buy whatever fits into a box? And I'd be like, sure, give me the most messed up ones,
Yeah.
So yeah, I have one more book to show off. One more book.
Oh.
Look what came in.
A box?
Yeah.
I gotta tell you guys the story. Okay. Ask Jake about his honey problems.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
I don't got honey problems. I got honey solutions. I'm mining my honey right now as we play. So this book, I shipped this. I made the label for me, Chris, and Jordan the night they arrived at the warehouse. And weeks went by. Everybody got theirs. I never got mine. And then other YouTubers started posting their videos of this book. And I didn't get mine. And I'm like, JP, I need this book. I was supposed to do videos on it, and he goes, let's give it a few more weeks before we ship you another one. And I'm like, you jerk. And another week goes by, and then he goes, hey, I got a little behind on customer support emails. So we were teaming them, which means I start at the bottom of the list. He starts at the top of the list, and we work our way into the middle together doing emails. And he goes, hey, I'm going to send you this email. It's pretty funny. And the email goes, hey, I received one of your customers' orders. It looks like a label got accidentally added to the box, and they covered over the actual label for the book, and it arrived to my house. I opened up the package. It's clearly not my package. I saw the customer invoice inside. I've tried to reach out to the customer, and I haven't heard back. What can I do to get this to its right owner? And he's like, check the order number. And it was my book. I was like, that's my book. So we sent them a UPS label. And a few days later, I finally got my Artist Born Again with the nice little braille on it.
What's that tear on the back?
Where? You're a jerk.
I'm sorry.
I'm staying. This is staying in the box until I move.
I'm
What a
very happy for
story.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glad you finally got it.
What a rad person though to like actually like go above and beyond. I'm over here like they're
And not
trying to
ju-
call me and I'm not answering because it's an unknown.
Instead of just keeping it and not saying anything and just saying, you know.
Well, they made it clear that they were more of a DC fan, so they didn't have any interest in it. I'm just kidding.
Stop being mean to Jack from The Brave and the Boys.
Yeah. Dang, I got mine in last week. Yes.
Who's Jack?
You know, Jack up there. Over there.
I would have kept it.
And that is why he's the captain. The captain of underpants.
The other crazy story I have with a lost shipment arriving to me is we went to Hawaii when we got married, and when we came back, one of my packages wasn't there. And I was like, JP, I never got my Batman animated adventures. And he goes, it shows delivered. And like 2 days later, someone knocks on the door and they like have my box and they're like, hey, this was opened on my front lawn. Like, I think a porch pirate stole it, opened it, saw it was a comic book, and just threw it out of their car. Like, this is your book. And that's how I got my Batman animated adventures.
How lame do you think it is for porch pirates to see such a big old box in front of a house and go, dang, it's heavy, it must be valuable, and they bust it open and it's
freaking nerds.
It's not even Snyder's, and they chuck it. It's not even canon. It's Elseworld. It's a TV show tie-in.
Brutal.
Hey, Kenny.
I bought an artist edition from the IDW sale recently, and they sent me an extra copy of. That's a huge book, bro.
Nice.
And what's up, Kenny? I don't know how you get an extra copy of like the largest artist edition ever.
Yeah, they're like, we need to get rid of these.
Yeah. When I
Tariffs
was
are going to
looking
be
at
a
that
problem.
book for the first time, I didn't realize that there was different Spider-Man runs in that artist edition. So I was like, why is it so big if the page doesn't even cover the full screen? And then I got to the adjectiveless Spider-Man stuff, and I was like, why does Wolverine have those weird ears? You know what I mean? In that
floppy
run.
ears.
They're like this tall. He looks like a dog.
Gotta go big or go home. You know, Spawn capes. Remember?
And speaking of going big or go home, this week is stacked, right?
And there he goes.
Look at that. What a stacked week. This is the week of April 15th, guys. Not me naming the stream for.
You're on the wrong week. You're on the wrong week. You're on the wrong week.
Oh.
Okay, present slides and PDFs. Google Slides.
I was about to say 15. No.
Okay, so I see 4, 8, 15. Is it 8?
Yes.
Okay.
Another week, another absolute edition. We don't have one this week. We had one.
Yeah, we do.
No, we do.
Oh, do we?
But it's a reprint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Speaking of which, my shipment that's supposed to be arriving today should have an absolute edition in it. These are the new releases for the week of April 8th.
Hey.
Let's hop into it. Off the bat, Absolute Green Lantern, Sinestro Corp War.
That's the reprint. Got it.
Hey, is that the OG printing or is the new one?
That's the OG. So I wonder if the new one's gonna have the dust jacket, because that you don't see that really anymore with absolutes. This is still the old way of doing it.
You're right. I should order it just to make sure.
I'll keep one. It's cool.
Yeah.
I bet it. If I had to guess, I would say it does come with the dust jacket because the Watchmen one still comes with it.
Yeah. So.
Did you guys know? Bat Cato pointed this out to me. One printing only of the Watchmen Absolute doesn't have a ribbon.
I gotta check mine. I can't remember if mine has it.
Yes, Absolute Sinestro. Gimme. One of the first comics that got me back into modern comics. So here's why I actually really like the Absolute of this one. Have you ever grabbed Absolute Infinite Crisis and Absolute Sinestro Corp War and read them back to back? It actually reads really well together back to back. I feel like they're just so bombastic together.
Yeah, I have not, but I have a problem with it because it leaves out some, in my opinion, critical tie-ins. It only covers really Green Lantern, Green Lantern Corps, and then Green Lantern Sinestro Corps War Special. And I wish it included the tie-ins like with Superboy Prime and so.
Yeah. Do you guys think we'll get the Promethea in Materia edition someday?
I mean, it would be nice, but they came out with what, deluxes and absolutes of it.
Can I tell you guys this? When they said it was going to be the first landscape absolute, what does that even mean? What's a landscape? Oh, it's a landscape omnibus. It's supposed to be the first landscape omnibus because a lot of that stuff is sideways. But like, what does that even mean? Do you know what that means, Chris? When they said it was going to be the first landscape omnibus, the Immateria collection? Like, I can't even conceptualize what that means.
Well, landscape, it's kind of like what the Master Edition is, because that's why I said, oh, of course you gave me the Master Edition, the one, the encyclopedia that I couldn't stand.
I don't know. I feel like maybe they'll do it, but they might just do it as a regular omnibus someday. I don't know if they'll do it this funky, weird, unique.
Yeah. It'll
be like the Echo Lands Deluxe that Image put out.
Yeah, probably.
I'm going to Google what that looks like. Echo, and I'll do that. We'll skip to the next one.
Next one is just contents.
One more.
There you go.
Hey.
Speaking of Mr. McFarlane.
Amazing Spider-Man Epic Collection Venom.
Venom. That does look pretty sweet.
Venom, the Eminem song?
Venom.
It's so wide. So it's like one long page, not like split down the middle. That's dope. Give me that.
Now, the interesting thing about this cover right here, that actually is the DM cover for the Omni. The standard edition is him in his regular Spidey suit.
Sick.
What do you do? I'm at absolute max capacity in terms of storage for comics, but I want more.
Call the collection.
I think Chris is better at curating the collection and balancing digital with physical, so maybe you can speak to this.
See, Jake and I make mistakes, and we would just buy more shelves.
Yeah.
Well, no, I made that same mistake too. I bought probably what's going to end up being my last Kalex just because I did some measurements. I said I can fit one more. In all honesty, Jake's right. It's going to come down to kind of looking at your collection and seeing exactly like what you're really going to read. What are your particular likes and dislikes? If you're going to be going with a character, if you're going to be going with a certain artist, or you're going to go a certain publisher, that's when you really have to start thinking about what you really like and what you really want. And there are plenty of things I would love to get. Like you said, I don't have an amount of space. I have a good amount of space, and when Jake arrives in the summer for Heroes Con, he'll see, but there's only so much space a person can have, so that's when I've started using digital. And most of my digital stuff I own. I don't have everything. I've backed up in non-DRM and things like that, so I don't have to worry about anyone taking the stuff from me. But it's something that you're going to have to kind of think about in the sense of, and it ends up a lot of times, it ends up being cheaper sometimes digitally. I'm not there's a good balance that I have, and I feel like if I really, really want it, I've kind of stuck into like what I need versus when Jake and I were just talking offline that I'm coming to the end of getting close to what I actually am wanting in the sense of like older title stuff. Because a lot of I think the newest Omni I'm probably scheduled to, I've pre-ordered is the Krakoa era. That's probably the newest Omni that's there. Everything else is kind of just wrapping up certain runs. And I'd say if I'm doing anything newer, deluxe edition wise, it's probably tied to indies and things like that. So it doesn't make you a bad collector. It's just, again, space. So that would be my advice. Kind of look at, see what you really want, keep that, sell the rest, and then kind of look at the digital side of it, whether it be going with DC Universe Infinite, which Jake has a great video about, their newest their initiative with making the top tier monthly, or Marvel Universe is that, and there are lots of different ways you can
Global
go about
Comics, which I hope reaches out to me again and doesn't ghost me again. Dark Horse just commented on our Instagram reel, and Bill Quist messaged us and said it was an excellent video.
Alex, does this double
So-
dip with the McFarlane Complete Collection? I'd have to probably pull up the contents of that. My guess would be probably.
I just recently did that video in every format, and I didn't realize when I was making it until after we were done with the scene that there's a difference between Marvel Masterworks and Mighty Marvel Masterworks.
Yes,
There's
there's a
adjectives.
very big difference.
So I had to go through my video, and so we filmed the scene where I do a correction, but I also didn't like that. So I just had to go through it out every time I said Mighty in my video.
Is that what you ended up doing?
Yeah.
If what you're referring to, Alex, the McFarlane Complete Collection, if I'm looking at the right one, just pulling up Amazon Spider-Man by Todd McFarlane, the Complete Collection, that is just his adjectiveless run. So that's one of the smaller omnis you can get. It looks to be,
I have it right over here.
That's what I thought it was, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know for sure.
yeah, that's if I'm looking at the right one. So looks like it has Spider-Man and Hobgoblin on the cover.
How much does that Omni go for nowadays? I remember at one point it was like $25. What is the cost of that?
It looks like we packaged it up yesterday. I don't even know what we packaged.
Let's see.
Oh, another cool con memory I didn't share is I was in line with someone and I was making small talk. We were in line for Mark Waid, and I'm like, "So, what'd you bring to get signed?" And he's like, "Oh, I brought the Flash by Mark Waid Volume 2. It was still sealed." And he goes, "By the way, are you Jake from The Brave and the Boys?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm Jewish Dragon from the chat." So I got to meet someone like that recognized me, which is like a really gratifying experience. And
I had that for the first time a couple of times last year at HeroesCon. That was kind of cool.
wow, Chris with the couple of times, me with the once.
No, I thought you had more than one. I thought you had it more than one. Someone recognized you.
Yeah, no, yeah, you know what? One time our Instacart delivery drivers were like, "Is this Jake from The Brave and the Boys?" We saw him. That was fun.
Right now, at least on Amazon, it's going for $160 used.
Crazy! I would never pay more than $50 for that at Omni.
I got it for about $20 on in stock trades before they clearanced it out.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And yeah.
But that's
Moving
this
on.
book. That's not this book.
Avengers Forever. This is the book that I had Jordan hold in the thumbnail. Jordan, talk to us about your relationship with Avengers Forever.
Well, if you didn't know, this is by Jason Aaron, he's created some phenomenal runs. He just did a little side story for Batman, which I thought was really pretty cool. I own his Thor Omnis. I've never read them. But on a quest for cosmic vengeance, Ghost Rider finds himself on a ruined Earth where the great age of heroes never came to be. Isn't that a cool premise? Chris?
Well, can you tell me who Avenger Prime is?
I think it's time for Chris to talk. I've spoken too much. I can only say like 3 sentences per stream, so.
I will not tell you who Avenger Prime is. I know who it is. If in the chat, please don't ruin it for Jake. I did not care too much for Jason Aaron's run until this point. I thought the Heroes Reborn felt like a big waste of time because it happened and then it didn't feel like anything happened from it. And it looks like Kenny agrees. I just did, but I really did like the Avengers Forever. It was very cool, multiversal, lots of different variants. I thought this was the better part of it, and I didn't. And I came in about halfway through his run, and I still was able to kind of follow it. So, yeah, I think it's a cool story. It's a cool ending to his run, but he said he was building towards it. I still can't see it. So, but I liked it. Avenger Prime is someone that you'll be like, huh? And then when he explains what happened, it was like, oh, yeah, this does make sense. At least in my opinion.
This is the standard cover, which I think looks great. But Jake, show us the DM.
Oh.
I think I prefer the standard. Let's go back.
No, you gotta have some Hellcat action.
Who's that blonde girl that looks like Wolverine? That red-haired girl that looks like Wolverine?
That's Hellcat.
The one that you literally just said.
It's not a gutter mutant. I'm just letting you know.
Why is Shining Knight on this cover?
Well, this is like it's looking at like that's like a different kind of Avengers team.
Hero, though? in the top right corner, isn't that Shining Knight on his horse?
That is not Shining Knight. It looks like Shining Knight. It is not Shining Knight.
Okay, let's see if I can name all these characters.
Okay.
That is Black Knight.
Yes.
Or is it Swordmaster?
It's not Swordmaster.
Okay. Iron Man,
Yes.
Mantis, Pietro, Beast, Captain America, Wolverine,
No.
Lady Wolverine, Lady
No.
Cat,
No.
Hellcat,
Yes.
Said it.
Scarlet Witch, Silver Surfer, Lady Silver Surfer.
I've got to pull it up because it's too small on my screen.
Yeah, it's small on my screen as well, but that is not Silver
Is that
Surfer.
Lady Silver Surfer? From the new Fantastic Four movie?
No, I think that's Joe Costa.
Okay, and then that's got to be Roy Kent.
Yeah.
No, Hercules.
Yep. Roy Kent.
And then that's Ultron. Well, no, but nice Ultron. What's Ultron's good
Ultron
brother?
from the 30th century?
Paul Bettany. Yeah, Paul Bettany. Vision. And then
Did you get who's in between Beast and Captain America?
that is Swordmaster.
There you go.
But with less glorious hair.
Yes. Not as cool as it was in Daredevil.
I did it. That means Chris has to buy me the omnibus.
I don't have to buy you anything. I did not agree to those terms. You remember
They
these
were
terms
implied.
quite differently. It was implied. Sorry, not a verbal
I'm
contract.
gonna go from I'm from Iowa, and there's gonna be a Des Moines Comic Con at the end of the next month. I'm
Moines.
excited to
Des Moines.
Des Moines.
go. Whatever, I did my best. Who are you excited to see there? Like, who are you most looking forward to? And I want to shout out my boy Mike is watching. How is your pizza? Every Saturday he gets a pizza and watches our stream.
A
So-
pizza pie.
This is one I'm excited for, as you guys know.
The quintessential run.
Yeah, I love that it collects it both in full color and black and white.
Yeah, because they have to justify like saying we got to put this in deluxe edition. We can't just do a single issue.
Do you think this came out because they made the scans for the omnibus and then they were like, let's just put a deluxe out in the meantime? You know what I mean?
I'd say that would not necessarily be too far out to the realm of possibility if they already
I
have
heard
it.
the sales of this will dictate how many of the omnis they print. So
Yeah.
this is really, if you don't pre-order this, guys, we're really gonna miss out on the omnis.
Have you guys read it? I actually really like it. I like it.
There was a lot. I mean, it came out during his run on Batman, and a lot of people were very surprised of how good it was. Like, because again, you look at it saying, it's just a weird cash-in of this. It's not going to be good. It's really good. It's a cool way to think about it.
If he does go, apparently his favorite thing to sign is a microwave.
Oh,
He said recently that since he did, that scene in the hallway fight where he chucks a microwave at someone in the original Daredevil TV show, the famous hallway scene, there's a scene where he chucks a microwave at someone, and he said since then he signed a few microwaves. This story changed my life. Yeah, I'm pumped for this.
I find it interesting when they turned the Looney Tunes into human-like characters. It just like it works. It's just weird.
After you finish reading it, do you feel like a better person?
It's not Chris with Day Tripper.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a day tripper kind of thing.
Have you guys ever talked about Jordan's beef with Day Tripper and how he couldn't even get through it?
I don't have any beef with it. I thought it's good. It's good.
Kick him now. Kick him.
He goes, this is what made Chris a better person? Wow.
I haven't finished it yet.
He actually said it made him want to be worse.
Jake took the
makes
absolute away from me.
You know what Jordan says makes him feel like a better person? Watchmen.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I look up to Rorschach every day.
No, you would. Jordan looks up to the comedian.
Yeah, I was about to say it. There's a better one. Yeah.
Oh,
Jordan said hashtag the comedian did nothing wrong.
horrendous.
My family went out for a bit, so pizza will be late today. Oh,
No.
let me know. I'll stay on
Womp
until you
womp.
get your pizza. Yeah, I'm pumped for this, but I guarantee you most people probably aren't. But I actually think it's really good art and a really good story, and it definitely deserves some love.
And you'll have to see when he does an overview of it when he moves.
That's not very
That's right.
cash money of you, Jordan. You got to go to the ATM and do more cash money. How do you guys feel about Batgirl Nobody Dies Tonight? I don't know much about this era.
Sandra Cain's fucking dope.
Mm-hmm.
She's so cool.
Love that bat suit. Really do.
Yeah. I didn't know
next to Burnside, it's my favorite.
I didn't know how I felt about it off the bat when she was first introduced in No Man's.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's so good. You go, who is that? And then when you find out, oh, fuck. Definitely go read it.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you find out who she's related to.
Yeah. Such a good connection.
Mike, I hope you're double dipping while you watch the stream because I'm getting way further ahead of you with my honey farm. Just want that to be thrown out there. We maybe stayed up until 2:30 last night mining our honey hives.
Question for the uninitiated. What is a honey hive?
So
it's a Fortnite thing, Chris.
It's a Fortnite game.
Okay, good. We can stop now.
Basically, you whack your honey hives and you get honey, and that allows you to get more honey per whack, and then you can whack the thing more and get more honey. You level up.
Stopped caring after you said
it's
Fortnite.
A cookie clicker game.
Stopped caring.
Did the Batgirl finest release, or did they change the cover? Alex always asking these questions. I feel like we should know, but I have no idea. I'm working the farm right now. Oh, there we go.
Chris,
I feel like I've missed too many of the finest, and at this point, I'm just going to commit to Superman and Batman. So, I think I'll miss this. But there are other YouTubers that are loving the finest a lot.
So yeah, there are two different covers that we're seeing. Penguin still has the cover that that we have here that we're showing, but there's another cover that has more of that's Tim Sale. So
give me the Tim Sale cover. I feel like I want that one. Jordan, are you picking this up?
I own one DC Finest. I think I will be passing.
Here, I'll put it in the chat so you can see it.
Now this I'm picking up.
I feel like it's a little skinny.
Yeah, I saw the first images of it. I was kind of surprised how skinny it was, but to be fair,
it's a little skinny for 150.
It is, and to be fair,
I think this is the old solicit because I don't think this volume's covering the Batman Who Laughs anymore, right? Didn't they move that to volume 2?
They moved it to volume 2, yeah. So
why wasn't it started at 1?
Doesn't the run itself
You mean
have
the Justice League run?
Yeah, the Justice League doesn't it is it 3 or 4 deluxe editions?
It's 3 deluxe editions, but it's also going to include the trade paperback of No Justice and the deluxe edition of Batman Who Laughs.
Minus one issue of the Batman Who Laughs. Minus the tie-in issue
for the Grim Hunt.
That's the one. Yeah.
No, I think they might have added that, the Grim Knight, into volume 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think we're getting the whole deluxe edition.
So technically you've now paid
10 times.
10 times the Batman Who Laughs. You want to see Jake in his early career on The Brave and the Boys? It's a fun video.
I would not suggest rewatching
that's probably the
video.
only video I regret because it shows Jordan's address to the public.
No, don't say one of the. Okay, that and then we gave a low score to the comic book shop. Although the guys at the comic book shop are so cool, they're like really nice guys. But it was just the comic buying experience. It's easier to do it online.
What I should have done is I should have not countered the first comic book experience, the first shop that was really shitty, into the grade of the second shop, which is my biggest regret. But it is.
But it is a risk. Some comic book shops aren't as great as others.
Yeah, there are bad shops in the world.
Yeah.
The Justice League Omnis will fit right in between the 2 Metal Omnis.
Yeah.
But then where do you put Year of the Villain if that ever comes?
Yeah.
People talk about that a lot. I actually don't think Year of the Villains is that needed because in my mind, he clearly wanted Lex to be the villain, and then editorial was like, "Nah, man, it's gotta be the Batman Who Laughs again." Or
we need to beat that character into the ground.
I did just get him in Fortnite though, so I got him. With 60. Chris hates me.
I don't hate you.
This is really fun, and you know what? What should I sell my deluxes for? What's a good price to sell my deluxes for?
0. Give them away.
$30? $30 for the deluxes?
0. Give them away.
If someone pays for the shipping, I'll ship it to you.
There you go.
Jake used to lord those deluxes over me, and now we're about to be on even playing fields.
I also have all the single issues.
I don't know if that's a flex or a downside.
Wrap every precious book. I have literally done this with all my omnis and other manga volumes and pros in saran wrap. And
a lot of work.
I mean, that's good advice. I feel like, to me, I'm not as particular as other collectors. I just like, to me, like, I want my books to have character, you know. I don't know. Am I weird about that? Am I a bad collector?
Yes. Anyways, moving on. No.
I also own all the single issues of this run, so that's fun.
No, I don't think it makes you a bad collector. Just it's time, and that's you know.
And I think for me, like, I have so many books that come in so frequently that, like, if I just don't have the time to say, oh, there's a little nick on this book, I need to exchange it or something like that. You know what I mean? I just have to learn to accept it because I couldn't keep up. Chris, you know this one very well. What is the correct reading order of Green Lantern and Green Lantern Corps by Tomasi? In omnibus format.
Omnibus format. Give me a second.
When I asked Chris last time, he goes, "You're missing one. You don't have Brightest Day," and he made me purchase Brightest Day on my own dime.
I did. So sorry about that. So I've got it. Green Lantern by Johns, Volume 1. Green Lantern Corps by Tomasi, Volume 1. Followed by Green Lantern by Johns 2. Followed by Corps. Followed by Blackest Night Omni. Followed by Brightest Day Omni. Followed by Johns, Volume 3. There's some double dipping in there, by the way.
Mm-hmm. If you can include Brightest Day, that would be nice.
Jordan, if you need to go eat food now, since this is your lunch break, by all means, I feel like you've checked in. But if you want to hang until the end,
I checked in. I saw some things. There's a little doggy inside of the store, so I'm gonna go tell him he's a really good boy. Ken brought his dog in today.
Oh, is it named Crypto? Because he's a good boy.
Oh, that's another good boy who had a bigger.
Crypto didn't seem like that good of a boy this week.
He wanted to play.
Yeah, with his ribs. All right, guys. This is where I'm going to depart. Thank you for having me on while I'm not at my house. And I probably won't be on next week. So, bye.
This is the last we've ever seen Jordan. Say goodbye.
There we go.
All right,
now the show's classed up.
Change all the codes now.
He doesn't have access to anything. Look at him, though. Literally spending his lunch break at work on a stream with us. What a trooper. Are you getting this omnibus or are you keeping the deluxes?
No, I'm getting this because of the, it's going to be more complete.
Yeah. I got to say, I love everything in this book except for the Drowned Earth special. I hated that crossover.
It's barely a crossover at that point.
It was like 2 issues, right? But it's like, everyone's a fish. Not my thing. But what is my thing is official handbook of the Marvel. Wow, that could not. How did you like that this was the book you were holding in the thumbnail?
I saw it and I was like, of course he chose. Of course he.
What was I supposed to give you? Elmer Fudd, I knew you weren't picking it up. You hate Tom.
No, I would have been fine with that. It's just like I do have the official handbooks. I have 2 of them, the big one and the smaller one. But the reason I didn't like this is I don't like. I mean, literally, you have to read it like in landscape. You know,
you do?
It's definitely because it was done. That's how it was done. Like, look at the scans. If you look it up, the scans are landscape.
It is. So this roster is very much inspired by the animated series. So you got Jon Stewart, Martian Manhunter, Hawk Girl, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and the Flash.
But that's
and I don't know.
But who
do you think buying this?
Well, to answer Alex, that's not Shira. That's Kendra. Kendra Saunders.
Oh. Okay.
That's what it was.
There's a difference?
Yep. Yes. Good luck trying to figure out. I say DC has some very interesting origins and histories. I say good luck trying to figure out the histories behind Legion, Donna Troy, and Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Good luck trying to figure that out.
Mark Waid said that he has an answer for an explanation of Hawkman in the upcoming history of the DC universe.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Nenny needs to figure out Donna Troy and the Legion. And he loves the Legion too, so.
He said the Legion is coming back early in one of his first arcs of Superman, and it will be a Legion that is comprised of someone who, from any generation of Legion fans, will be able to enjoy his Legion.
Taylor's going to be excited.
Yes. I'm hoping my stuff isn't... I don't know if I'm being unrealistic, but I think because of the fact that, like, this is part of my job, you know, like, my career... Like, I am doing my library before I do a living room, our bedroom, our kitchen. I didn't tell my wife that, but you know what I mean. Like, I'm doing my library first. I love this Justice League run way more than New 52. I would say way.
Let me see. Would I agree with that?
It was just so familiar for me because they felt like the versions of the characters I grew up knowing and loving, versus New 52. They felt like new besides like Batman, like they felt like new like maybe just Superman, but Superman just felt so different, you know?
No, I would agree with that. Just thinking about like what I think event-wise, I think this Justice League story is much more contained because it is, like they said, it's between metal and death metal, and it was leading towards all that, so it didn't have as many big events. Now, Johns' 52 run, that comprises 2 omnis, but a lot of events happen during that run, too, so it's definitely more expansive.
It definitely was more self-contained. I will say that I also liked that, like, we got, like, they would every so often there would be, like, I think it was Tinian that wrote it. You would get to see the Legion of Doom side of what was going on.
Yep.
I enjoyed that. I feel like New 52 would probably be easier as a new reader. This one feels like you have to be a little more in the know of like the post rebirth world. But I don't know. I think you could. I mean, it's still okay for new readers. I would just still maybe put Justice League New 52 as more accessible, but I put the other one as more familiar. I guess that's how I would rank it.
Yeah.
What is Zax's power?
Got me on that one. Sorry.
Marvel has the Legion of Heroes. That feels cheap.
But yeah, I mean, these I would be very, like, if, like, the official handbooks, things like that, like, this is very much what we would always go to before Jake was alive. And what this was the official word on power sets, storylines, you know, like what they do, cool kind of art in these. But what I will say is this. Once these do, I'm not trying to spur FOMO. These are not book stuff for FOMO, but this is a very generational kind of thing. I'm not picking this up because I just didn't care for this version of the Master Edition, Reading in Landscape. But I would be very hard-pressed to see once these... You probably will see these at an Ollie's one day, and this will probably not one they're looking to reprint after its initial run. Just because it's not going to be a huge moneymaker.
I will definitely take your advice, though. There are some that are really treasured to me, so I will look into getting some saran wrap. I don't think I have the energy to, like, intricately bubble wrap every single book in my collection, but I will do the treasured ones. And moving on.
Alex is so mean.
The Legion fans that are still alive.
I would probably take this cover, though. I'd take the DM cover. But then again, it's X-Men, so that's why.
Would you say comics are the best medium to experience superheroes?
I need more information what you mean by that. I need a little bit more.
I think if you like comics are the best medium to experience any story.
Yeah.
But I think that it just depends on the person. Like, some people don't like comics and never will, and to them, like I don't want to say that you loving a Superman by Christopher Reeve movie is any less important or authentic or real than me loving a Superman comic. So
Correct.
I'm happy to get these characters in every kind of format, whether it's like I scoffed at like DC pushing the new Vertical comics, but some people love that, and if that's how
Marvel did it, Marvel's did it too, you know.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, I love comics because to me, I enjoy being. I don't get movies and TV shows are hard for me because I can't focus on them because I pulled out my phone or my Steam Deck or whatever, or I'm on my laptop. Like I never treat that like my sole focus. Usually, I get too distracted. But with comics, it's forcing me to pay attention to the reading, but I also get to look at the pretty images, and it's like I get to see this. I don't know. I can focus more on it, and it calms me. TV kind of stresses me out.
Yeah, so Eddie says, questions based on the fact that all superheroes started with comics. They are the purest form of the hero, but does that mean they are objectively the best? I think Jake brings up a point. It's like however you experience it in different ways. Like what I always say too, I love these stories. I'll always have them. There's always going to be reinterpretations, there's going to be different versions of them, things like that. No one can take that away from me. So when you put it either in a TV show, a streaming show, a movie at that point, I'm not looking for a straight like page to screen. I have that. It's cool to see, but I always look at it saying, okay, what are you taking from it? What are you changing about it? What are you putting your spin on it? I may not like everything to do it, but you know what? No one can take away what I did originally like about it. I think it's cool to finally see it come to life, but I know they're not going to be able to do everything for it. I don't need them to do that. As long as the essence of the character and the ideas, I'm good with little winks and nods, and if they take storylines from it. Like with Avengers Secret Wars and Doomsday. I have ideas. I've read Hickman's run and the event. I don't think they're going to do everything from it, and I don't need them to do everything from it. I want to see what they do a little differently. So,
for me too, I also, when I was a kid, I loved the Aragon book series, and I like tore through them, and I was so excited that there was finally going to be an Aragon movie, and I left that movie heartbroken because it was the first time I had ever been disappointed by a movie, ever thinking like, I was like, wow, that was not what I wanted. That was terrible. But now I'm of the state that like, if Superman is amazing and it gets more people reading comics, that's a win. More people are able to give a movie or a TV show a chance than give comics a chance. And if they get people to love these characters and if they get them to love these characters and then give comics a shot, I don't care who's better or what, they can feed each other. You look at Invincible, every season Invincible comes back, the Invincible books sell out,
Yeah. And James Gunn's done a better job than Marvel has in marketing not only the books that the stories are based off of, but even the platforms. And Marvel just hasn't marketed either the books and or their streaming platform for Marvel Unlimited. They just don't. And they're I think it's a big disappointment that they're literally losing opportunities to market like this. So
I mean, they're starting to name them directly after runs though, which
yeah.
I feel like I saw how many pre-orders of Brand New Day popped up the day after Spider-Man's announcement. So we'll see. Yeah. Let's get past Rom. I don't care about that. Oh, that's our last one. Rom.
Mike,
amazing.
Let's see. Leonardo was asking, is there a way to deal with sagging of the books? Okay, so here's my thoughts on that. Gravity is going to be gravity. All right. Now, one of two ways. It's not a surefire way. Like this, it takes some work, and this is something that you're going to have to either accept or you're willing to put in the effort. A lot of times, people take
paper, cardboard.
Cardboard, like thick cardboard, and put it underneath the books. People have the book barding. Make sure it's extra covering for the dust cover and things like that. You could also, when I shelve my books, I try to use all the space. Obviously not everything's going to be stacked together, but also if it's well put in. But gravity's going to be gravity. That's something that it's just going to take a long time for it to sag, but it also depends on the quality of how the book was assembled. So there are YouTube videos that show you how to do it, but I think that's a lot of work depending on how big your collection is. And it's just a question of whether you're going to put it in. Me personally, I would take more time, and I have done this, is repairing spines, which I've done. I had to do that actually in an Invincible Ultimate Collection a couple months back, than worry about sagging on books. That's just me. I'd rather put in the time to re-glue a spine.
Yeah. And now they want to know, do you dust your books?
Do I dust my books? I dust when I see it's accumulated enough of it, but I don't, it's more of like, oh, it's been 6 months. It's gotten dusty.
Yeah.
Hard to do that.
For me, because mine are on camera, every Sunday morning at 6 a.m., I get there with a dust gun, like a little air gun, and a feather duster, and I dust every single book.
Do you wear a French maid suit too?
Oh, I don't wear anything, Christopher.
No, okay.
Just be in the books.
Just you in the books.
Diddy baby oil.
Stop it.
Okay, you're right. That we found the line. This was fun. We came in just in an hour. We learned, we laughed, we loved, we cried. Guys, this was amazing. I'm so happy that I get to still do this, because I'm like actually kind of sad I don't get to make videos. I don't get to communicate with my friends that I've made on this awesome community. So definitely I would say, to give a little self plug, subscribe to us on Instagram and join our Discord, because we'll still be doing like book clubs. We'll still be doing a bunch of videos and reels on that. And also, if you do check out my temporary goodbye video, leave a nice word, because packaging is discouraging. I'm stressed. Like, my collection, which brings me so much joy, is now becoming a source of stress. And that's hard. So
you start questioning, saying, "Oh, why did I collect so much?"
Yes, like I was just like, we packaged, I don't know, 10 boxes last night, and that just
barely made a
covered the
dent.
books. That just covered the books that didn't fit on my calyxes. Those were just the assortment of books on the ground.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got problems. Chris, where can they find you? What do you got going on next week?
You can find me on all the socials at Chris Balga. If you want to check out our breakdown of the last episode that just came out of Daredevil Born Again, episode 7, David and I break that down. We look at the Sony news coming out of CinemaCon with Spider-Man 4 getting a title. And David has thoughts. I have thoughts. My thoughts are a lot different than David on the title. And Across the Spider-Verse. And next week, we'll be obviously covering the penultimate episode of Daredevil Born Again. So check that out on the Geekverse Podcast YouTube channel at 9:10 Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. And then you can check out the audio dropping, as always, the next day on Friday, just by subscribing to Marvel Alliance and all your podcatchers of choice.
And I, as always, am Jake from The Brave and the Boys. And, I'm going to try to enjoy this break. I sometimes get addicted to progress, algorithmic progress. So not having the dopamine of likes coming in and subscribers coming in can be tough for me. But I'm just so excited to actually set up the new studio room with filming coming first. We're going to put bars. We're going to try to set up an overhead camera always. We have plans, and we're excited to see what we can do. So everyone, keep reading and stay brave.
Brave.
Oh, I almost clicked leave instead of industry.
I'm going to shoot an angry email to JP and